his career, his contribution, and also I have discussed the purpose of this poem, the message of this poem. Now we will continue the same poem. Just I read the poem last time. It is all about nature, and the poem is calling us for giving us a kind of notice that if you don't respect the nature, it is a bleak future that you are going to face. Nature is part of our life. Nature is source of our life. Nature is nothing but our another existence. So with this concern, the poet has started the poem. Now we will go a bit ahead and we'll try to understand what the poet is trying to say in this poem. So once again, let me read the poem. Listen it properly, carefully, so that you can understand the poem better and you can write it in the examination systematically. Listening is an art as reading is an art. Listening the poem, reading the poem is also an art. Okay, so listen to the poem written by Nigerian poet Ni. Lynched the lakes, slaughtered the seas, mauled the mountains, but our earth will not die. Here, there, everywhere, a lake is killed by the arsenic from the bladder of profit lotteries, factories. A poisoned stream staggers down the hills. Coughing chaos in the sickly sea. Coughing chaos in the sickly sea, and the wailing whale, belly up like a frying fish, crests the chilling swan song parting. Okay. One minute. What's up? Yes. Yes. Who, coughing chaos in the sickly sea, the wailing whale, belly up like a frying fish, crests the chilling swan song parting waters. But our earth will not die. Why lynched the lakes? Who lynched the lakes? Who slaughtered the sea? Whoever mauled the mountains? Whoever. Our earth will not die. And the rain falls acid on balding forests. Their branches accustomed. Their branches accustomed up tainted clouds. Their branches amputated by the septic daggers of tainted clouds. Weeping billows drip mercury tears in the eye of sobbing Tyrians. The nuclear sun rises like a funeral ball, reducing man and widow to dust and dirt. But our earth will not die. Fishes have died in the waters, fishes. Birds have died in the trees, birds. Rabbits have died in the burrows, rabbits. Our earth will see again, eyes washed by a new rain. The westering sun will again resplendent like a new coin. The wind unwound will play its tune. Trees twittering, grasses dancing. Hillsides will rock with the blooming harvest. The plains batting their eyes of grass and grace. The sea will drink its heart content when jubilant thunder flings upon the sky gate, and a new rain tumbles down in drums of joy. Our earth will see again the earth, our death. Okay, so this is a beautiful poem written by Nee, and this is introduced in this first stanza. We will try to understand what the poet is trying to say, because in the note section also it is made clear that this poetry is written by intrinsic to African life and part of the oral tradition. This is a poem which is not based just on the text, the principles of the text. He says this poem, this notion, this feeling is collected, is taken from the African day-to-day life. You cannot expect Africa without the rich forest, and the forest dwellers, they love nature, they respect nature. But there is, on the other hand, the so-called educated society, civilized society, metropolitan society, which has spoiled the beauty of the nature, is saying that people who are living in the forest or the forest dwellers are not educated. They are not civilized. They are not eco-friendly. In fact, it is they who are spoiling the whole forest. But the very interesting thing, whether the people in India or tribals in Karnataka or the people in South Africa, whoever are there in the forest or whoever are identified as a forest dweller, they usually don't go against the law of the nature, because they know very well it is clearly written in the note of the poem. What is that? Poetry, this poem, is intrinsic to African life and part of the oral tradition. He says every desh, every country, every nation, every desha has its own culture. It's intrinsic, means which cannot be separated from the major or mainstream of the life. If you remove philosophy from India, the whole culture is meaningless. If you remove technology from the atmosphere, America is meaningless. Similarly, poetry is basic language of South Africa. People talk in the mode of poetry. And it's quite natural, you know very well, that even in India, farmers, villagers, people from folk culture, they talk more in poetic style. They use myths, symbols, and their language is very, very suggestive, metaphoric. Same the poet is explaining here. Nee is saying, the people of South Africa, this poem is taken from the life of the South Africa, African people. Even in Karnataka also, we have certain tribal groups. It may be Siddhis, Kunubis, Kadu Kurubas, Jenu Kurubas, are people living around Malai Mahadeshwara Betta, Nanjanagudu, Nanjundeshwara Swami Devasthana, Saudati Yallamma Devasthana. All these people living around these temples, they are basically tribal people. They are basically folk from Janapadiya background. Okay, they talk the language of poetry. So this poem, Kavite, is not just written But this poem is there in the air of South Africa, or the people who are living in the forest. So what the meaning, what they are saying? Very interesting thing is also mentioned here in the note, that chants to rain, earth, river, and charms that accompany the rhythmic pounding of ingredients for evening meals are part of their daily activities and ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Saying mantras before the rain, before the earth, before the river, before moon, before the sun are also there even in India. The moment when you dip into the Ganga river, we utter some mantras. When we go to the bathroom before taking bath, we utter some mantras. After taking bath also, while taking food also, we chant certain mantras. What is mantra? Mantra is nothing but a process of thanking all the sources of nature which have kept us healthy, which have enriched our life, which have made us to love ourselves better. So mantras are not just a mechanical reproduction of spiritual word, but they have meaning, they have broader meaning, greater meaning. An ordinary thing becomes great the moment when you utter the mantra. For example, water, scientifically dissecting, it is H2O, technically talking. But when I say a mantra, Jala, Amruta, okay, we say sometimes Devasthanadalli, adana Tirtha, we use the word Tirtha. If you talk human anatomy, it is nothing but a system of nerves, flesh and bones. But what philosophy says, no, you are not just nostrils, you are not just breathing systems, you are not just cameras, but you are human being, a living, thinking animal. So totally they said Deha. The moment Deha, then Degula, Devalaya, and we say we have to keep it just like a temple. So it is there in South Africa also. People of South Africa, dwellers, forest dwellers, respect nature with mantras. ಇದು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಅರಣ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸಿಸುವ ಜನಾಂಗಗಳು ಅರಣ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹಾನಿ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾಶ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. But what we educated, what is the education? Education is not just information. BCom is not education. BCom is a course. It is not education. How you behave, how you use this BCom for the betterment of the society, that is education. So it is wrong to say people living in the forests are ugly, are uncivilized, are not cultured. They are also cultured. Their culture may not be easily understandable from us, but it does not mean that they don't have culture at all. We have read a lot about nature, but how far, how much we, people of city, corporate sector, loved nature, respected nature, or did any proactivity related with nature? It's a question that we have to ask. The poet is asking through this poem. People living in the forest, they are better respecting nature. They are not spoiling. They are living inside, but they are not taking anything from the forest without permission. Before taking anything, they worship the temple. They pour some water to the tree. Before taking anything from the tree, anything from the forest, they add some activities related, proactivity to the nature. So he is asking in the first stanza, who have killed the nature? And answer is, it is not the forest dwellers. Lynched the lakes, slaughtered the seas, mauled the mountains, but our earth will not die. In order to construct huge buildings, in order to extend the empire of cities, in order to facilitate this world with aeroplanes, trains, buses, and all the modern means of transport, in order to extend our roads 4 ways, 5 ways, 6 ways, what we did? We people of city, we lynched the lakes, we slaughtered the trees, seas, and we mauled the mountains. You know very well, mining is one of the important worst businesses which have spoiled all the beauty of the mountains. Now you have left with very few mountains where you can go with your children in future. A future is bleak everywhere, in the need of the stones, jelly, in the need of cement, in the need of the ore. We have been excavating, we have been spoiling the mountains, emptying the mountains. So in the first stanza, he says how we have behaved with the sources of the nature.